Hi 7th graders, I hope you've been doing well. Today we're moving along. In Unit 6 we are doing Lesson 4, which is all about percent change. Our learning target is I can calculate the result using a percent of change. So let's go through what percent change really is. It is an increase or decrease given as a percent of the original amount. So here's what our proportion looks like. It's pretty similar to what it was in the last lesson, except our left ratio is a little bit different because the top is the amount of change, the bottom is the original amount, and then your second fraction, your percent over 100. Okay, so make sure you pause the video and you fill that out if you need to, and we will go ahead and practice. So if our original amount is $20, but the new price is $25, okay, what we need to do is we need to find our amount of change. That's what goes on the left. Okay, so to do that, all we have to do is subtract these two. 25 minus 20 gives us 5. So our amount of change is 5. That goes on the top. Okay, and then the bottom is asking for the original amount. So what did we start at? Well, we started at 20. So that is the number that goes on the bottom. And then we do not know our percent. They did not give it to us, so that's our x. And remember, our denominator is always 100. So now we can go ahead and we can cross multiply. 5 times 100 is 500, and that's equal to 20x. And then to solve for x, we divide both sides by 20. So our 20s cancel out, we're just left with x, and we get 25 for an answer. But we're talking about percents, so we need our percent sign. And then the last step is we need to figure out if this was a percent increase or a percent decrease. So if we look, we are going from 20 to 25. Well, if you notice, those numbers increased, they got bigger. So this is a 25% increase. And that is our answer. So that is how we find percent of change. The part that people get wrong most is knowing which one the original amount is. Sometimes they just pick a number and put it in, and it might not be the correct number, so be extra cautious. Alright, so we have 4% change problems. Let's go ahead and let's get started. We are going from 25 to 49. So whenever it says from 25, that's your original. So if it helps to box it so you remember, I would do so. Okay, so we need to find our amount of change. So we can go ahead and subtract 49 minus 25. And if you don't want to do it by hand, you can grab your calculator. 49 minus 25 is 24. So that is our top number. Okay, and then our original amount, that was 25. Okay, we don't know our percents, but we do know it's always over 100. So now we cross multiply. 24 times 100 is 2400, and that's equal to 25x. Now we solve for x. We divide both sides by 25. So we get x is equal to 2400 divided by 25 gives us 96. And we're talking about a percent, so include your percent sign. And now we need to figure out if it was an increase or a decrease. So we're going from 25 to 49. That is an increase. So this is a 96% increase. Awesome. Moving on to number 2. This time we're going from 50 to 45. Okay? So let's go ahead and set up our ratio. We need our amount of change. Well, 50 minus 45, that's kind of easy. That's just 5. Okay, so that's your top number. Our original amount is 50. We don't know the percent, so that's x, but we do know the denominator is always 100. So now we cross multiply. 5 times 100 is 500, and that's equal to 50x. And then we need to divide both sides by 50. So we get x on the right. 500 divided by 50 is 10, and we're talking about a percent. And now we need to figure out if it was an increase or a decrease. Well, going from 50 to 45, that's getting smaller, so this was a 10% decrease. And that is our answer. You try number 3 and number 4 on your own and then come back and see if you got it right. We're going from 200 to 110, so again, that from 200, that's our original amount. So if you want to write it in right away, you sure can. Now we need to subtract 200 minus 110, we get 90. So that's the top number. We don't know our percent, but we do know it's always 100 on the bottom. 90 times 100 is 9,000, and that's equal to 200x. Then we need to divide both sides by 200. So we get x. 9,000 divided by 200 is 45. And again, we're talking about a percent. Now it went from 200 to 110, so that got smaller. So this was a 45% decrease. And our last one of these, we're going from 80 to 115. So again, when we set up our ratios, that 80 is our original amount, so that goes on the bottom. Now we can subtract 115 minus 80, which gives us 35. So that is our amount of change. We don't know the percent, but we do know our denominator is always 100. Cross multiply 35 times 100 is 3,500, and that's equal to 80x. And we need to divide both sides by 80. So 3,500 divided by 80 gives us 43.75%. And our number was going from 80 to 115, so that is getting bigger, so this was an increase. Alright, so that is all about percent change. Now we're going to move on to stuff that we'll also be talking about a lot in the next lesson. Okay, so this is kind of an introduction to it. Okay, finding the result of a percent increase or decrease. So we have two vocab words that we're going to talk about. Right away, we're just going to talk about a discount. A discount is an amount by which a price is reduced. So if you go to the store and you see that something is on sale for 20% off, that means your price is being reduced by that 20%. That's called a discount. Okay? We always like discounts. It means we're paying less for something. So we need to find the discount and the new price. So Lene bought a television originally priced at $750 that was discounted by 35%. What was the reduced price? So what we are going to do is we are going to set up a ratio or our proportion just like we've done before. Okay? It is saying it's originally priced at $750. That's the original price. Okay? So if we go back up and look at our proportion, our original price is always on the bottom. Okay, so that number goes on the bottom, that's 750. Okay, and they also give us how much it was discounted. It was discounted at 35%. So that is what goes on the top, and 100 goes on the bottom. So then we have our X on the top left. Okay, so what we just set up, we want to know how much it was reduced by. So that's what this is. This is how much it was reduced. Okay, so let's go ahead and cross multiply. X times 100 is 100x, and that's equal to 750 times 35. So we get a giant number, 26,250. Alright, now to solve, we divide both sides by 100. So we get x equals 262.50. Alright, so what we just calculated the amount of change. So in other words, we just calculated our discount. This is not how much the TV is actually going to cost Lene. This is just how much she's getting off of the TV. Okay, so if it helps to write discount at the end, I would definitely do that. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to figure out how much she's actually paying for the TV. So if it's originally $750, we are going to subtract that from how much she's getting off. Alright, so we're taking 750 minus 262.50, and we get 487.50. So Lene is actually paying $487.50. Alright, so we needed two answers, so I'm going to circle both. We needed our discount and the new price. So that is how we find the discount. I'm sure you will use this when you go shopping someday. It's super important that you know what those percents mean so that you can figure out how much it's actually going to cost you before you get up to the cash register. Alright, so now on the other side, a markup is an amount by which a cost is increased. So this could be in any business. If you are running a clothing store and you have to buy the clothes from a company to sell them, and it costs $20 for you to get them, are you going to sell that item for just $20? No, then you wouldn't be making any money. You want to raise that price up so that you're actually making some money on the product. So that's what a markup is. So we need to find the markup and the new price. Christian received a shipment of refrigerators that cost $850 each. To set the retail price, he marks the price of each refrigerator up 60%. What is the retail price of each refrigerator? Okay, so when Christian is ordering refrigerators, this is how much they cost him. So that is the original amount, okay? But he wants to make some money off of these refrigerators. So he's going to mark it up by 60%. He's going to raise the price 60%. Okay? So let's go ahead and set up our proportions. Okay, our original amount is $850, so remember that goes on the bottom. And then we know that the percent is 60, so that goes over on the right, and then our denominator is always 100. We're trying to figure out how much he's marking this refrigerator up for. So that's our x. So now we solve just like normal. X times 100 is 100x, and that's equal to 850 times 60, which is 51,000. Okay, now we divide both sides by 100. So x equals 510. Let me rewrite that. That was very sloppy. 510. Okay, 510. Is that how much he's going to be selling these refrigerators for? No, then he would be losing money. This is how much he's marking up the refrigerators. Okay, so that is our markup. Now we need to find how much he's actually selling them for. So to do that, you are going to add 850 plus 510, which gives you $1,360 for the new price. Okay, so that's how much he's actually selling them. So he is making a $510 profit off of each refrigerator. It's pretty impressive. Alright, so that was our lesson on 6.4% change. Please let me know if you have a question. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.